Hi everyone. So my name is Tamia Crowder. I'm currently an intern at JASA's Elder Justice Program out in Brooklyn, New York. In this presentation, I'll be discussing a social justice issue that profoundly impacts older adults, elder abuse, and neglect, particularly among individuals who experience financial, emotional, or physical abuse from intimate partners or family members. This issue intersects with ageism, social isolation, and systematic barriers that prevent many older adults from receiving the protection and justice they deserve. Elder abuse is defined by the National Center on Elder Abuse as any intentional act or failure that causes harm or risk of harm to an older adult. And this can include, as I mentioned before, physical abuse, emotional or psychological abuse, financial exploitation, neglect, or abandonment. For many of the clients that JASA may come across, they often, for abuse for them happens most of the time behind closed doors, sometimes by trusted family members or intimate partners. What makes this a social justice issue is that often at times we found that older adults are being dismissed, silenced, or overlooked due to ageism, fear, dependency, or cultural stigmas. At JASA, I've worked with older adults, many women who have endured years of mistreatment. For instance, one client that I came across shared that she had left an abusive partner after years of emotional and financial control. She feared that if she reported him, he would go to jail and he would lose financial support. And she would lose financial support. After she finally left, she began her sobriety journey and started rebuilding her life, waiting for her son to return from prison so he could see her resilience. These stories illustrate that elder abuse doesn't just cause physical harm. It often destroys a person's self-esteem, financial stability, and trust in the systems that are supposed to protect them. I became aware of this issue through my practicum at JASA. During the few weeks I attended staff meetings where case discussion often centered around older adults facing complex trauma, a mix of abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation. Listening to client intakes and shadowing caseworkers or social workers, I noticed a consistent theme. Many victims minimize their experiences out of fear, shame, or love of the abuser. This made me realize how deep-rooted the systematic the problem is and how critical trauma-informed cultural competency interventions for older adults are. To better understand the issue, many of the social workers there use multiple assessment methods, which include client interactions and observation. Through one-on-one sessions, they listen to client narratives, identify patterns of emotional dependency, and financial coercion. They also use staff collaboration, which we all know as social workers, that is very important. They interview certain they meet and interview their colleagues, social workers, attorneys, their legal team within JASA who share their professional insights on barriers to justice. Also, community outreach. Many of the social workers attend elder justice outreach events where I sometimes also attend with them, shadowing, where I can observe how limited community awareness still is around signs of abuse. Also, I came to learn about these different issues and how to address them, not only through assessments and being at my practice, but also reading. A lot of reading on doing research and literature reviews. To address this social justice issue, of course, I spoke with my field instructor in JASA and the JASA Elder Justice team. They provided a lot of supervision in case context. Clients share personal stories that reveal the emotional and social dimensions of abuse. My recommendations for change based on this topic can be increased community education about elder abuse, especially targeting faith-based organization, housing complex, and health clinics. Also, expanding culturally incompetent services so that older adults from diverse backgrounds they want to feel understood and safe disclosing the abuse. Strengthening partnerships between social services agencies and law enforcement to ensure compassionate and trauma-informed responses. We also can promote financial literacy programs to reduce vulnerability to financial exploitation. We also can implement more peer support groups where survivors of elder abuse can share experience and build empowerment. My strategy for change includes a multi-level advocacy model. On a micro level, I would say to continue engaging clients using trauma-informed empowerment-based approaches to rebuild their confidence and autonomy. On a meso level, I suggest develop community workshops in collaboration with senior centers and housing authority. On a micro level, I suggest continue advocating for legislative change such as expanding funding for elder justice program and mandatory training for professionals who work with older adults. The goal is to create a continuum of care and awareness so older adults are protected not only through crisis intervention but also through intervention and empowerment. In conclusion, elder abuse and neglect represents a deep violation of human rights. Through my practice at JASA Elder Justice Program, I learned that justice for older adults begins with listening, believing, empowering them to reclaim their dignity. Each story I heard has reminded me that aging does not mean invisibility, and that as social workers, we are called to be the voices for those who have been silenced. Thank you for listening, and I hope that this presentation inspires continued awareness, advocacy, and compassion for older adults in our community. Also, I will attach my slides. You can also look through my slides to get further information. Some things I may not have mentioned in my presentation, but they will be there in the slide. Thank you for your time and for listening. Bye-bye.